Idaho Governor Brad Little delivers his annual State of the State address in Boise today, where he warned of spending cuts, but called to keep funding in place for things like public education. We'll have the latest.
And uninsured people tend to not fare well. So we have numbers that indicate that 80 people per year could die as a result of being uninsured.
Meantime, in Washington, lawmakers kicked off their legislative session where a $2.3 billion budget gap looms large. What lawmakers hope to tackle in the next 60 days.
Sunny and warm tomorrow, but enjoy it while you can because we're talking fog and cooler temperatures the rest of the week.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Today, Idaho Governor Brad Little laid out his plans to balance the state's budget in the annual State of the State address. That plan calls for spending cuts while keeping funding intact for things like education. Justin Core with our Boise sister station has the latest tonight.
My friends, the state of our state is strong. We do face challenges, but we've laid a solid foundation for enduring and long-term prosperity.
And that's why Governor Brad Little is calling his budget plan for this year Enduring Idaho. He says there will be budget cuts. Most notably, it will make the 3% spending reductions last fall across most departments permanent.
Responsible leadership means acting early, not waiting for challenges to grow. That's why we took deliberate steps to right-size spending and identify efficiencies across all agencies.
Executive agencies will also renegotiate contracts and eliminate positions that have been long vacant. The plan, among other things, also removes $275 million from the Idaho Transportation Department's Strategic Initiatives Fund, including $110 million for local highway districts. Now, the governor says that is a one-time cut. Governor also said while he will not repeal Medicaid expansion, he is recommending a $45 million general fund reduction in Medicaid expenditures, as he says, to preserve affordable health care access.
Families and businesses across Idaho are grappling with rising costs, particularly in health care, and states everywhere are feeling the same strain. In Idaho, a fast-growing population adds to that pressure.
Governor stressed, though, one thing that will not be cut is the public schools budget.
Looking ahead, our Enduring Idaho plan balances the budget without cutting into public schools. We're going to do it while preserving the things that matter most to our long-term well-being as a state.
That being said, there will be changes that look a lot like cuts. The governor wants to see some inefficiencies eliminated in virtual public school funding and eliminating $10 million in funding for the Idaho Digital Learning Academy.
Our Enduring Idaho plan was carefully designed with strategy and foresight to protect what matters most, the things that will keep Idaho strong today, tomorrow, and decades to come. That starts with our public schools.
That was Justin Core reporting. The governor also says the state will conform to the federal tax cuts, and that will further reduce the money coming into the state after the record-setting state income tax cuts last year. But the governor says those cuts will support economic development, which hopefully, he says, will benefit the entire state in the long run. All right, our other top story at this hour is the forecast. Warmer and windier to start the work week this week. Let's get outside right now to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Still not wearing the jacket out there, Jeremy.
Mark, it is seriously warm out here, 48 degrees. That official reading comes in just a few minutes ago. 48 feels like 43. I'm here to tell you I am totally fine without a jacket out here. 36 up in Deer Park and Sandpoint. Not quite the case there, quite a bit cooler. And as we move through the remainder of the evening, our showers are already starting to move up higher in elevation. We had a few of them. Sandpoint, you're on the back side of them. All of the ones that moved through Coeur d'Alene now working their way up into the Silver Valley, coming down as a bit of a wintry mix up over Lookout Pass. Right now, we are just way too warm to get snow anywhere below, say, 5,000 feet. It's kind of crazy how warm we are. Overnight, we're going to stay above freezing across the region, and by tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at the warmest days so far this year, maybe. Today, we were up near 50. Tomorrow, it is likely that we get every bit as warm as today, maybe even warmer, with sunshine dominating the forecast. I might change partly cloudy to mostly sunny tomorrow. It is going to be very sunny and near 50 degrees. 38 on Wednesday because we wake up to a round of patchy freezing fog. And then we hang on to that the next few days as temperatures trend quite a bit cooler. Mark?
Good, Jeremy. We'll check back in with you later in the show. Washington's 2026 legislative session started today. Since 2026 is an even year, this session will only last 60 days. State lawmakers only have to address legislative issues and adjust the current budget. They don't have to approve a new budget like they do in odd-numbered years. Some expected legislation in Washington this year: Governor Bob Ferguson's supplemental bill, which includes the millionaire's tax and a sales tax reduction. Some other bills are House Bill 2138, which looks to boost student performance in reading and math, and House Bill 2225, which introduces new regulations on AI chatbots. House Majority Leader Joe Fitzgibbon also plans to introduce a bill to allow for mid-decade redistricting. Meantime, in Idaho, one of the main issues lawmakers will address, as we heard earlier, is the budget. Last session, Governor Brad Little signed more than $400 million in tax cuts. Critics say those cuts are why Idaho now has a projected budget deficit of $40.3 million. The Idaho legislature will also talk about health care. House Speaker Mike Moyle says legislators are considering repealing a Medicaid expansion for the state of the budget. On a national level, the House just voted to extend the ACA tax credits. The Senate's still debating that legislation. Advocates say if they don't pass these tax credits, it could put some Idahoans' lives at risk.
And uninsured people tend to not fare well. So we have numbers that indicate that 80 people per year could die as a result of being uninsured. The folks who are voting against this are basically relegating families to have to weather those costs on their own.
For the first time since a 77-year-old man walked into the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office and opened fire, we were hearing from the sheriff in a one-on-one interview. That interview comes as the office partially reopens to the public and investigators continue to hunt for a motive. KREM 2's Regan Gallo brings us the latest from Wallace tonight.
It's a period of rebuilding for the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office after that December 26th shooting. Now, Sheriff William Eddy tells me the department is back open, though services remain limited. A quiet Wallace street and melting snow mark a sharp contrast compared to 3 weeks ago. Changes include a new way to enter the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office with locked doors and a phone to buzz people in.
It's been a rally from, within the community, and everybody wants to know why, but unfortunately we probably never will know that.
The office is once again open after a shooting at the sheriff's office that injured 3 people and ended with police killing the suspect, John Drake.
It's nice, though, to be moving forward, and we got some improvements to do in the lobby.
But what's left behind is bullet holes and a heightened sense of security.
Do your job, go as it happens, and then worry about your emotions afterwards,
Sheriff William Eddy tells me cleanup is underway. Right now, only the driver's license office is open.
We had to wait in the lobby one at a time, so the lobby's not done, so we waited outside for a bit, but it was very nice. I mean, it was easy, walked right in. They're still doing remodeling inside, that's why, but no, I felt very safe and secure in there.
With a red phone to call in. Sheriff Eddy says he had been sheriff just over a month when the standoff occurred after the abrupt exit of Sheriff Holly Lindsay amid an off-duty crash and a failed levy in November. He says he's pushing forward to rebuild the department.
You got to get moving forward. We can't keep dwelling on the past.
Eddy noted recovery from the shooting is just one challenge. Other priorities include jail upgrades, hiring and training deputies, and closing budget gaps without a sheriff's levy. Above all, he says the next 6 months will focus on rebuilding community trust and restoring a sense of safety.
That's my number one goal, is making sure that everybody's safe here. So, and people that come in here, that they feel safe.
As of now, there is no updated timeline on when the office will open in its entirety. Sheriff William Eddy does say that the office is not suitable for the public just yet. For now, I'm reporting in Wallace, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
All right, we are just getting started here on KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. Coming up, the Seattle Torrent are making history in Madison Square Garden. The reason why, coming up later in the show. But first, an Oregon representative says some federal agents have been posing as utility workers, moved to lure people out and arrest them. A look at how utility companies are dealing with that situation in just 2.5 minutes.